Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. We're going to get going pretty soon. We do have a quorum. I just want to announce that for any visitors, including department heads, they need to sit up in the front here, all right? So we can keep count of who is a visitor and who isn't. So if you are a visitor, please take a seat up here. I'm going to ask everybody to be seated when we get to voting, so there's no confusion about who is doing what. And I think I am still looking for a couple volunteers as counters. You got enough? Okay, have the counters come forward to be sworn in, please? Okay. All right, I understand that we do have some folks here who are town employees, but they're not town residents. So I'm sorry, but you are a visitor and you'll need to sit down here in the front. All right, I guess at this point we're about ready to start, but I'm going to ask if there are any announcements that people want to make of public importance. And I will start off. I believe that someone from TCAM wanted to make an announcement. But I'm just going to mention to make sure everyone's aware of the fact that Townsend is celebrating America's 250th anniversary. We will be having a parade down Main Street from Scales Lane down to the Common on June 20th. And after that, Old Home Days on the Common. So come out and celebrate America's 250th birthday. And for more information, it's being sponsored by the Townsend Historical Society. And for more information, you can go to the website www.townsend250.org. Right, Bill? Okay. Maybe you don't have to say www anymore, but that's what I used to do. Anyway, is there someone from TCAM that wanted to speak? Yeah, David?
We're going to do it from here.
Is it on? Okay, and just so everyone knows, we haven't opened the meeting yet. These are pre-meeting announcements, but we'll start the meeting shortly thereafter. Thanks, Dave. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Okay. Hi, everybody. First time that I've talked to any of you or all of you at a town meeting. TCAM, we're the people that try our damnedest to get you live coverage of your meetings here. We record all of the selectmen's meetings, etc. And we put it all up on YouTube for you to watch completely free. However, just so you know and understand, the money that we get in order to bring you services like this comes directly from Comcast. Not a single dime of this actually comes out of your pocket, per se. You do pay a little bit on your bills each month, but that's for Comcast in order to support us to then turn around and do these things that we do for you in return. The main reason why I'm talking to you tonight for the first time in 5 odd years is because we assisted the town in negotiating a new contract with Comcast. The money's going to be about the same, but we're going to be looking at doing all kinds of new services, and we have to comply with state and federal requirements for things such as ADA compliance for closed captioning and adaptive language. So we've got a lot of things that we need to do in the near future. And as you can see, we're showing you a little bit of a slideshow here about we're excited to move into the future. TCAM directly has to negotiate with the town for a new 5-year contract. And we look forward to that because the town, TCAM, and you, we make up a three legs on a stool. We need you in order for us to even exist. We need to give you things that you should be getting as a town service, and we're getting your money back to you. Like I said, you do pay some on your bill for Comcast, but we turn around, claw it right back, and then give it to you. We're looking at having classes in the future where anybody here wants to learn how to operate one of our cameras that you can see in the hall here, and take it for a while and do your own movie. I mean, do your backyard movie, do other things. We'll help you learn how to do that. That's part of our mission that we have to expand and do. And basically, this is kind of like just a, hi, we're here for you. We want you to want us, and we want you to experience as much as we can give you. And hi, that's all I can say. Oh, yeah. This is Eric. He's a consultant for us to keep me on track. You'll notice on the warrant that Article 14 is the money issue. That's the one where you can see a pretty big number in there, $152,000. That's what we've collected from Comcast over the course of the year. And that's going to be spent on new equipment, updating the facilities, and just trying to improve everything overall with TCAM. Again, for your benefit. It's in the long way around your money, and we're trying to spend it the best way we can. And somebody that I see right here in front of me may talk about something similar later on. Cindy King is the Commission on Disability, and we're going to be working with their group because they have knowledge of things that need to be done to comply with the ADA. We do, and we're going to try to communicate with each other and work with each other for the benefit of the town again. So lots of exciting things are coming down the road. It's all I can tell you for now, but things will be happening. What else we got? Or is it time for me to shut up? Okay, it's good. Well, we'll be covering stuff like the parade on the 20th that you mentioned. We just covered that was an exciting thing, actually. A gentleman belongs to a Model T Ford lovers or whatever, and we covered a presentation for them. 1927 Ford, in 1927, a family took a round trip around the United States, 8 months, 27 or 17,000 miles?
18,000.
18,000 mile round trip. A mom, a dad, and 3 children in a 1927 Model T. It was an exciting thing to see, some of the weird things, and imagining no roads. You know, those cars were built to last, and they did. They got beat very much. It was a nice little presentation, but we want to do more things like that for you. If any events that some of the groups and organizations might have, we'd like to record them and broadcast them for you. You know, share your experiences with your neighbors. Oh yeah, okay, if you want the deck that's playing right now in the background, there's a copy of that out on the tables there if you want to grab that. Take that home, frame it. We'll autograph it for you if you'd like. But that's about it. I think I've gone on long enough. I'm still killing time while they're trying to figure out some technical issues. So. But I think we're done.
Do we still have some technical issues, David, or are we online now? Okay.
No.
Well, we are recorded.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is the wonders of technology.
Yeah.
We may not be
Recorded.
live, but we are recording, so at the very least, we should be able to put it up tomorrow on Channel 9 if you have Comcast, or look for it on YouTube under Town of Townsend YouTube channel.
Okay, well, thank you very much, David. I think TCAM is an underutilized resource the town has, and I encourage anybody who got something of interest or some activity they're doing to get in touch with Dave and see if they can help you promote that event. So, thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, we do have a quorum, so I'm going to declare the annual town meeting, Townsend Town Meeting of May 5th to order. And we do have the scouts here to bring in the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance, so if the scouts could come in.
Please rise for the presentation of the colors of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. The scouts from Troop 10, give them a big hand of applause. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. Last year, Troop 10 celebrated its 100th anniversary as a troop in Townsend. And some of you may remember being there in years past as a scout in Townsend, but we won't wax philosophical or nostalgic now. All right, I'm going to ask everyone to find a seat and remind you that the meeting is being recorded by Townsend Community Access Media and can be viewed at home on Channel 9, I think David said. Anyone else that's recording the meeting, you can do so. However, as long as it doesn't interrupt the meeting, if we have anybody with large cameras or anything, they should come down here on the left side, but if it's not interfering with anyone's enjoyment of the meeting, it's okay. I'm going to introduce myself, I guess. If you don't know me already, I'm John Barrett, Town Moderator. To my left is Harrison Mayotte, the Town Clerk. Kieran Meehan, the Interim Town Administrator. Adam Costa, the Town Council. Our Board of Selectmen with Valerie Goodrich, Chairman, Laura Schifrin, and Sarah Logan, newly elected. And congratulations to Sarah on the effort. And congratulations to everyone who ran. Sarah's left, there is the Finance Committee, Don Hayes, Chairman, Mary Jane Churchville, Carol Hassas, David Walker, Jerry Bazikas, I didn't put my glasses on, and Sam Grant. I think we have our town treasurer here, Melissa Dunnett, and I'm not sure, we have, I know we've got a number of town department heads. The chief is over that way, so maintaining the public order. And Dr. Pigeon is here from Neshoba. Is someone here from North Middlesex? Back there. Back there, okay. All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan, okay, Tim Morgan, Superintendent. Okay, so, I'll just go over some of our rules for the proceedings here, and I know this maybe sounds repetitious, but I think it's helpful to go over them. That we conduct the meeting according to town meeting time, which is this book. It's been used by moderators probably for about 70, 80 years. It incorporates all the rules and practices and traditions that many towns have. It's not the Bible in the sense that we still sort of follow some of our own rules. If you do want to get a copy of this book, let me know. Let me know after the meeting, and I'll try to see if I can hook you up with one. So if you want to speak, you have to be recognized. We do have the 2 microphones here, so I'd ask that people, if you want to speak after a motion has been made, or if you're going to make a motion from the hall, to approach the microphone and be recognized by myself. Please state your name loud and clear so we can get that down, and also your address in town. Direct all your comments and questions to me, and don't engage in a one-on-one debate with people. All motions must be in writing brought to the clerk. If a matter is finally voted, it may be reconsidered upon a majority vote if the motion to reconsider is made this evening. If the meeting goes into a second night, an article which has been voted upon tonight may be only reconsidered upon a 9/10 vote. And I think we only have 18 plus 1 articles, so we're hopefully going to get done tonight. We won't have to worry about it the second night, right? Yeah, touch wood. Votes are taken by ayes and noes. The moderator determines the outcome of a voice vote. If I'm in doubt, I'll ask for a show of hands occasionally, but more often we will ask for a standing vote, and we have counters appointed to count. If the vote as declared by myself is questioned, if 7 voters stand to question that determination, we will take a standing vote. If you're confused about a situation on the floor, you can raise either a point of order or a point of privilege. Point of privilege is the lesser of the two. It's if something is interfering with your understanding of or hearing at the meeting, or something is interfering. This is a nice hall, so I don't think we have too many outside influences that are going to interfere with our conduct of the meeting. If there is some procedural question, you can rise and interrupt the speaker for a point of order. You have to be recognized. Once you're recognized, I'll ask you to state your point of order, and then I'll rule on that. One of our time-honored motions is a motion to move the question. This is a motion, is not debatable, the practice of it is it cuts off debate if it's approved by majority vote. Our practice has been that one cannot make a motion, get up to debate a motion or make comments, and then move the question at the tail end of your argument. So you must be recognized, and you may not interrupt a speaker. Also, if there's been insufficient discussion and there seems to be a lot of people with questions, I may rule a motion to move the question out of order. I'm going to ask everyone to remember to be courteous and keep applause to a minimum. We're trying to get the town's business done here. We're all legislators here today. Visitors may speak if there's no objection. Department heads can speak regardless of that. Even if there's an objection to a visitor speaking, if the visitor has specific information that I deem would be important for the meeting to hear, I can allow them to speak. Department heads can speak for their departments. I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight, in that we're going to try to put in some time limits. If you have a presentation that you want to make about a particular matter, I'd ask that you let me know that, and I'm going to limit you to 5 minutes. If there's a rebuttal to that presentation or that motion, I'll allow an equal amount of time. And thereafter, if that's an organized group or some group of people that want to speak in opposition, after that, I'm going to recognize people as they come up to the microphone, going from one microphone to the other. I'm going to try to limit everybody to about 2 minutes of speaking, make your point or your question, and I will occasionally allow follow-up questions, but we're going to try to limit the ongoing debate, especially if there's a lot of people that want to ask questions. All right. Now, one thing I didn't do yet, but I'm going to ask the clerk for the return of the warrant.
Pursuant to the within warrant, I have notified and warned the inhabitants of the town of Townsend by posting up attested copies of the same at Memorial Hall, 272 Main Street at the Center, West Townsend Reading Room, 264 Dudley Road in West Townsend, Police Communication Center at 70 Brookline Road, Harbor Fire Station at 47 Main Street, and Harbor Church at 80 Main Street, at least 7 days before the date of the meeting as within directed. Signed, Police Officer of Townsend, Daniel Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayotte. Now, next piece is, before we get to the warrant, we have a bit of housekeeping. We need to elect a deputy moderator for the year, and I believe Mr. Rahala is in attendance. I'm going to move the meeting, appoint him as deputy moderator by acclamation. All those in favor of Gene Rahala as deputy moderator, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, it's unanimous. Okay, now that the annual meeting has been convened, is there a motion to recess the annual meeting? Okay. For those of you who are confused now, and before anybody raises a point of order, our tradition has been sometimes to have a special meeting within the annual town meeting. So now that we've opened up the annual town meeting, there is one article on the special town meeting warrant. Sometimes these things come up late and they can't be planned for in the annual town meeting. So we're going to vote on the recess. Mr. Rahala. I'm sorry, Jane, you got to use a microphone. I can't hear you. All right, we didn't get a second? Okay.
Mr. Moderator, I believe that the warrant that was just read was for the special town meeting.
Was it? I didn't.
It was 7 days' notice.
The 7-day notice is for the annual. Annual town meeting actually only has to have 7 days' notice. The special town meeting has to have 14 days' notice. So that was the correct, but there was a motion to recess the annual town meeting, but there was no second. Was there a second? Second. Okay. All those in favor of recessing the annual town meeting, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, unanimous. All right. Is there a warrant for the special town meeting?
Yes. I would like to move that the town vote to transfer the sum. Okay. You told me to talk.
Yeah, I'm going to declare the special town meeting open.
Pursuant to the within warrant, I have notified and warned the inhabitants of the town of Townsend by posting up attested copies of the same at Memorial Hall, 272 Main Street at the Center, Police Communication Center at 70 Brookline Road, West Townsend Reading Room, 264 Dudley Road, Harbor Fire Station, 47 Main Street, and Harbor Church, 80 Main Street, at least 14 days before the date of the meeting, as within directed. Signed, Eric Modica, Police Officer of Townsend.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayotte. All right, the warrant having been read for the special town meeting, is there any motions?
Yes. I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $312,817 from free cash to fund the fiscal year 2026 snow and ice deficit in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapters 44, Section 31D.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion, any explanation?
Sure. Kieran, your interim town administrator. You know, it was a pretty epic year of snow. I think the highlights were February 25th, where we had more than 20 inches of snow here in Townsend, as well as surrounding communities. Your highway department and contractors within the highway department worked, you know, feverishly to keep roads clear, make things accessible. And as a result of that, we are able to deficit spend on this article. Though not the best practice, we were fortunate to have sufficient free cash this year to cover said deficit. And looking at the omnibus budget upcoming, we added a little bit more to the snow and ice budget for this year, for fiscal year 27. But this article is before you to help offset the expenses we absorbed in fiscal year 2026 for the town in clearing roadways and ensuring safe passage throughout the town.
Okay, comments come on the motion on Article 1. Is there any questions, anything to be said? Fairly standard situation. All right, sir?
Chris Thurrott, 102 Pierce Road. What is the current balance in free cash?
Before the allocations or after the allocations before us?
As it stands today.
Say that again.
As it stands today.
Sure. So we were allocated $558,000 of free cash at special town meeting on March 19th. We spent $4,750. Before you now, you have $312,000 approximately, with several other articles before you to be offset with spending, as well as to help balance your budget for the fiscal year 2027 allocation.
Okay, questions or comments come on Article 1. Anything else to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion on Article 1, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, unanimous. All right. That concludes the business of the special town meeting. Is there a motion to dissolve the special town meeting?
Seconded.
All in favor of dissolving the special town meeting, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Motion, I guess, to resume the annual town meeting. All those in favor of resuming the annual town meeting, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Maybe not necessary, but cover our bases. All right. For the annual town meeting, there is Article 1, to see if the town will vote to hear the reports of boards, committees, or commissions, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town hear the reports of boards, committees, and commissions. Seconded.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to hear the reports of boards, committees, and commissions. Are there any boards or commissions that wish to make a report? I know that we will be hearing from the planning board later when we deal with the zoning articles, but if there are no other reports, I guess we can move on to Article 2. Article 2, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to appoint all town officers unless other provisions are made by the Massachusetts general law, by town charter, or by vote of the town, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town authorize the select board to appoint all town officers unless otherwise provided by Massachusetts general law, town charter, or vote of the town.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Anything to be said? Standard question. If you raise your hand, yeah, I might be able to see you, but it's probably better to come up and approach the microphone if you want to say something.
Okay.
Now, in this hall.
All right, thank you. Sandra Lord, Wells Hill Road. I have a question. What is the difference between now and what is proposed here on the article? I was just trying to find out the difference. Like,
State that again, Sandra.
how is it now compared to what is being proposed on the article? Like, what is the...
This is basically a stock article, so that if there are offices that are vacant that need to be appointed, we're authorizing the select board to make those appointments.
The elected boards still have there's elections.
Elected boards are elected, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
they
right.
can't be changed. I mean, it's just for appointed boards, or appointed positions that the select board can appoint.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So any other questions? I think we're ready to vote. All in favor of the motion on Article 2, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Article 3, see if the town will vote to elect 3 members of the James H. Tucker Trust Fund Committee, consisting of 3 members from the West Townsend Village, elected by annual town meeting for staggered terms, to oversee and administer the James H. Tucker Trust Fund, including the acceptance, management, and expenditure of funds in accordance with the terms of the trust and applicable law, and to authorize the select board to adopt rules and procedures necessary for its operation or take other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
I move that the town elect 3 members to the James H. Tucker Trust Fund Committee for staggered terms in accordance with the town charter.
Second.
Are there names, someone to be named?
No, we have to ask for them.
They're to be elected on the floor.
Okay, usually the motion will include the names that...
We don't have any.
Don't have anyone? Okay. All right, we're looking for volunteers for the James H. Tucker Fund.
Who live in West Townsend.
Sue Gherkin? Yeah, sir, do you want to come down and state your name?
Jake Justman, just curious what the requirements would be for this?
That you live in West Townsend.
Yeah, cool, done.
That's it.
Sign me up.
What's your name again, sir?
Jacob Justman, J-U-S-T-M-A-N.
Address?
58 West Meadow.
Beautiful.
Okay, one more.
Thank you.
Who else? From West Townsend Village.
She doesn't live in West Townsend.
Usually have Pam Heyman here, but Pam, are you here? Guess not.
Lisa Lalonde.
All right. Well, I'd Julia Stockwell? Oh, Sandy.
Hi, Sandra Lord, Wells Hill Road. I was just wondering, what is that trust fund? I tried looking it up online, getting a little backstory. I was just wanted more information.
Sure.
Basically, I try to feel this. It is a fund that was established by James Tucker, largely to maintain the fence at the Riverside Cemetery and keep it in good order. I think we used to have a little bit more explanation in the article about that, but there was a fund that was established by Mr. Tucker for that purpose, and that committee is there to handle those funds and make, working usually with the Cemetery Parks Department to see to it that the fence is maintained.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Mr. Moderator, the town clerk helped me with some other responsibilities. So these members will also help with the curbing, gravestones, and, as you mentioned, keeping the monuments in good order for the West Townsend residents.
Right. So they're largely charged with sort of overseeing the funds for those purposes. And I think from time to time, Cemetery and Parks, needs funds that they can go to the James Tucker Fund to repair the fence or the curbing or the stones in the Riverside Cemetery. So thank you for we have 3 volunteers. Are there any other nominations? They all raised their hands, yep. So, read them again. Susan Gherkin, Jacob Justman, and Julia Stockwell. Okay, all those in favor of those elected people, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Okay, you guys are elected. Now, all right. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to appropriate or reserve from the Community Preservation Fund annual revenues the following amounts recommended by the Community Preservation Committee for committee administrative expenses, community preservation projects, and other expenses in fiscal year 2027, with each item to be considered a separate appropriation. I'm not going to read all. It's printed in the warrant, so I'm going to ask if there is a motion.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriates and reserve from Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2027 revenues the following sums, with each item considered a separate apportion. $8,121.50 for administrative expenses of the Community Preservation Committee, $16,243 for Historic Resources Reserve, $16,243 for Community Housing Reserve, $16,243 for open space reserve, and $105,579.50 for budgeted reserve.
Seconded.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. There is something to be said. I'm sorry, your name again?
Maria Milliken, Turner Road.
Okay, Ms. Milliken.
Mr. Moderator, we have an amendment. I'm representing the CPC Board. I'm Vice Chair. This amendment corrects the fiscal year 27 CPC budget amounts to match what the Community Preservation Committee actually voted in March, on March 2nd. The original article appears to have omitted the state trust fund match, which affects the total estimated revenues and resulting allocations. This amendment doesn't change the structure or the intent of the budget. It simply updates the figures. So they're accurate and compliant with the requirements of the Massachusetts Community Preservation Act. I did give a copy of the amendment to the warrant article. Should I still read it?
Yes, I think you should read your motion to amend. You're moving to amend the motion.
Yes. I move to amend the motion under Article 4 by striking the proposed fiscal year 2027 Community Preservation Committee budget amounts and inserting the following. So under appropriations, for the estimated revenues for committee administrative expenses instead of $8,121.50 would be $9,550. Under the reserves, from historic resources reserve, instead of the $16,243, we're presenting $19,100. Under community housing reserve, same, $19,100. Under open space reserve, $19,100. And then the budgeted reserve balance of $124,150 instead of the, what was it? $105,579.50.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Okay. All right, now, Mr. Mayotte passed me a proposed amendment from the Finance Committee, which I didn't see anything. I presumed that this was the amendment. Was there?
Yes. Hi, John.
Oh, Don, if you could elucidate, yeah.
So, yes.
I mean, we have an amendment on the floor, so we'll deal with that, but.
It is. Mary Jane went to the floor. In the Finance Committee meeting, where these are estimated numbers, we were recommending that they would change to the percentages of the fund, because these are estimated numbers, and when you get the final number, you can just apply that with the percentages.
We do use percentages.
Right.
I can share those percentages if you'd like.
Right.
Mr. Moderator, just discuss one amendment at a time.
Yes, we will. We're going to just deal with this amendment, but because I know that the FinCom did have another proposal here, but I'm wondering whether or not we can do that with percentages because it's a kind of an open-ended question. I'm going to defer on that point. Because I think the meeting's going to need to know, whether or not it makes sense to act on this motion or if there's something else that's pending. I'm going to ask town council if he could comment on there is a proposed motion by the Finance Committee to change it from specific amounts to a percentage for the different categories under the Community Preservation Fund. And there's some legal concerns about whether or not you can do that.
What are the percentages, if I may ask?
The proposed were 5%, it's kind of irrelevant because we think it's not legal, but it was 5% for administrative expenses and 10% for all the other categories.
That's what we're already doing.
And I think the FinCom was just trying to be practical about it so that, it wasn't...
Correct. That was, rather than put an estimated amount that may not match in the end, we were suggesting a percentages so that when the actual number is there, we apply the percentages to come out to the actual values at the end of the year and report on them.
Okay, well,
so, to try to avoid confusion that we're voting one amount now and we get a different amount when the actual revenue arrives.
I'm going to actually ask Attorney Costa to speak to the issue about percentages, because I think that might be a legal issue.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. For the record, Adam Costa, Town Council. So I appreciate the rationale behind the percentages, and if we were discussing the preparation of the warrant itself, I wouldn't have necessarily had any objection to the warrant listing percentages to notify town meeting in advance of town meeting what the anticipated revenue appropriations would be. But once we're at town meeting, the motion itself needs to specify a sum certain, because we need to know what amount is being appropriated, an actual amount, a defined amount. It can't be some percentage. Again, I understand the rationale. I understand that numbers change, and those numbers can change between the date of publication of the warrant and the date that we're here at town meeting. But once we proceed to town meeting, once a motion is made, that motion has to be for a sum certain. If I could, while I have the microphone, I'd also like to raise a point of order, and that is, I know that the previous speaker at the podium or at the microphone had referenced that I think she said she's the vice chair of the Community Preservation Committee. I would just recommend, Mr. Moderator, that you confirm that these new numbers in her amendment are consistent with the recommendation of the committee as a whole, because this is one of these circumstances in terms of the scope of the amendment where the statute does not allow for an increase in the appropriation amount for CPA funds at town meeting unless that increase is consistent with the recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee.
Okay.
Mr. Moderator, can I
think I
comment?
understood her to say that was these are the amounts that the
voted.
the CPA had voted back in March.
Correct, March 2nd.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that was on the record, so that there's not a later challenge by Mass DOR to the appropriation.
Right,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I think the motion is before you to amend the motion on Article 4 to the amounts stated. You have the written motion? If you could bring it up
Again?
to the clerk? Or
Just bring the motion up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You may have given it to me before, but better to give it to the clerk.
Thanks, Maria.
Does anybody have a question about that, or how much we're voting on this?
Mr. Moderator,
And Ms.
my
Milliken?
committee members want me to read a little information. Would that be okay?
Yeah, if you can keep it short, yeah.
I will, I promise. Okay. Which article, Irene? 4. Okay. Where are we? No, I get that. So we had, all right, our annual budget article that's required under the statute that created the Community Preservation Act. Is that what you're talking about, Irene? As you may know, the Townsend adopted the CPA in 2024. I think the point is we want to make sure everyone in the room is aware of what this is all about. So we did adopt the CPA in 2024. Each year, a small surcharge is added to our tax bills, and then we receive matching funds from the statewide Community Preservation Trust Fund. And Townsend will receive our first trust fund distribution this coming November. So the point is that state match is not appropriated for 2026, but it is for 2027, and that's the discrepancy in the numbers, and that's just the point that we wanted to make.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Comments come on the motion, the amendment to the motion. Is there anything to be said? Yep.
Jacek Mozzanowski, 16 Alisa Drive. Just a clarification, I don't think there is a state match, there is state contribution, and as far as I understand it, recently it's about 18% of the sum that we collect. Thank you.
Okay. All right, comments come on the motion to amend. If there's nothing further to be said, I think we're ready to vote on the amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. All right, the motion's amended. Now, the main motion would be to approve the amended motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. All right, the amended motion passes. Article 5, see if the town will vote pursuant to the provisions of General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53, E1/2, to amend Chapter 105 of the town's general bylaws by amending Section 1F thereof, entitled Authorized Revolving Funds, adding thereto the following revolving fund, and to assign the following fiscal year 2027 expenditure limit thereto. And it is for police detail the spending limit of $10,000, as printed in the warrant. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town amend Chapter 104 of the general bylaws to establish a police detail administrative fee revolving fund pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, as presented in the May 5th, 2026 annual town warrant, and set the fiscal year 2027 spending limit for such fund at $10,000.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Anything to be said? Not seeing any. Fairly stock item. I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Article 6, to see if the town will vote pursuant to the provisions of General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53 and a half, and in accordance with Chapter 104 of the town's general bylaws, to authorize the following fiscal year 2027 spending limits for the following revolving funds, which are printed in the warrant. And I'll ask, is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I move that the town set the fiscal year 2027 revolving fund spending limits presented in May 5th, 2026 annual town meeting warrant as follows. Recycling, $45,000. Recreation programs, $100,000. Facility maintenance, $4,000. Cemetery, $35,000. Fire alarm, $4,000. Animal care program, $1,000. Fire EMS, $5,000. Conservation, $20,000. Fire EMS, $10,000. Firearms licensing, $6,000. Police public records request, $3,000. Detail cruiser fees, $6,000. Town hall public records request, $5,000.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded on Article 6. Is there any discussion? It appears we're satisfied. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to fix the salaries and compensation of all elected officers of the town as provided by Mass General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 108, as amended and as appropriated in this warrant, or take any other action in relation thereto. The town clerk, $71,795. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town fix the salary and compensation of the town clerk at $71,795 for fiscal year 2027.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Anything to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. All those in favor of motion on Article 7, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds in the treasury such sums as be necessary to defray the charges and expenses of the town for fiscal year 2027, pursuant to a detailed budget totaling $28,819,885, or any other sum on line 805, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town raise and appropriate and transfer from available funds the sum of $28,644,820 to defray the expenses of the town for fiscal year 2027 in the following functional segments. General government, $1,872,446. Public safety, $4,235,110. Education, $17,117,414. Highway and streets, $918,762. Solid waste, $19,700. Human services, $503,164. Culture and recreation, $504,078. Debt service, $443,282. And insurances, $2,994,864.
All right.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded. As is our custom, we basically will look at each functional segment to see if there is any questions in that segment, and if you have a question on that segment, raise your hand and
Mr.
be
Moderator.
recognized. And the Finance Committee also has a recommendation, so I'm going to recognize Mr. Hay.
So, yes, we had voted a recommendation of the budget and the final number, but since that time, the budget has changed, and 2 lines in the budget have changed. And all that I'm doing at this point is pointing out the North Middlesex assessment has dropped, and there is a new line under the Board of Selectmen budget under expenses for that amount. And again, the total budget is the same, it's just those 2 lines are changed in the budget from that we had approved at our meeting.
If I might, in the printed warrant so that people can follow it, there's also, everyone should have a copy of the budget in detail, and it's up on the screen too.
Yeah, Mr. Moderator, I do have slides related to each functional segment of the government.
All right.
If that helps
Mr. Meehan, would
folks
you like to
understand things.
walk us through the
Would love
budget
to, yeah.
then?
So general government for the town of Townsend is your select board, town administrator, town clerk, finance, treasurer, collector, accountant, payroll, your assessing department, your IT, legal, town council, facilities, as well as land use, which covers conservation, planning, zoning, and grants. This past year, in fiscal year 2026, that budget was just around $1.65 million. It increases to $1.87 million approximately. I won't read out all the numbers as they get a little boring. There's a growth of about 13.5%. The drivers for this segment related to that growth is a town administrator wage adjustment. I'm an intern. You guys are looking for your full-time permanent TA. Accounting professional services went to contract service rather than a person, and it actually leads us to save some dollars for the town, which is very important. The town clerk's office is looking at 4 required elections, and those come with a lot of time and expense related to those efforts. Legal costs, we are in the midst of negotiating with 4 unions within the town. Unfortunately, the override did not pass recently, so that is going to lead us to have to go back to the bargaining table with that collective bargaining group. Energy costs, my utility bill has gone through the roof. I imagine most of yours has as well. So that's also a burden that the general government budget is dealing with. To Mr. Hayes' point, the school reduction in North Middlesex Regional School District reduced their budget by approximately $109,000. The select board decided to take that $109,000 and put it into a salary reserve segment of the select board budget. This enables us to work with those collective bargaining agreement units and try to come to an agreement with them and then have that money to help offset any agreement contractual obligations we're faced with. In terms of areas of a reduction for your general government expenses, we currently are not looking to add a webmaster. We're very reliant upon our own department heads being the leaders in terms of website maintenance. There was a small decrease in finance committee reserves. All of our departments have gotten more resourceful in terms of decreasing office supplies, memberships across the board. We've reduced land use personnel hours. This is a sad point for me because I was previously your grant and housing administrator, but with the reduction in that land use segment of a department, we may be even more reliant on town council or just having leaders of different committees and boards have to be more resourceful within contacting neighbors for assistance and guidance on different programs. Mr. Moderator, I can go through all the slides if that helps, or you can lead me to which path you want me to go.
In our practice, what we do is we will see if there's any questions about general government. If there aren't any, then we'll vote on that total, and then we'll go on to the next segment. All right, so is there any questions on general government? The total is found in the budget on line 254. I'm not sure which page it is, but I think it's probably about page 3.
Also, bottom left-hand of the slide
And
you're
it's
looking
on
at,
the slide
and that'll
at
be
the
sort of the pattern you'll see before you, is the bottom left-hand side will tell you last year's approved budget and fiscal year 27 proposed budget, and if there's any growth, reduction, or flat enhancements.
Okay, is there any questions? Yep.
Hi, Kelly, 5 Tourist Lane. I just had a question about the increase for the town administrator. I know you're an interim and we're currently in the process of hiring. It looks like that's a substantial increase of 38.45%. How was that number developed? Is that just based on other municipalities? Because that for Townsend is a awfully large increase. And how, is that the maximum? And so when you negotiate whoever the new town administrator is going to be, obviously, hopefully, we're not increasing that line item by the actual of 38.45%.
I'm going to rotate the slide, and I know Ms. Goodrich, your chair, will speak to this.
So I'm part of the TA screening committee with the library director and the police chief. And prior to that screening committee, I worked with town leaders and a consultant to come up with this analysis you see up here. So we compare Townsend by economic comparisons, so that's your top towns, and then geographic comparisons. And so what you can see here is TA salaries in those towns. I would note that at the time this was done, it was end of March, I think? Yeah.
Correct.
West Boylston was currently in a search, and that was their range was 140 to 180 for their town administrator search. And in talking with their interim TA, they expected to fall at the high end of that range. We can't leave out geography, unfortunately, because you have to live where you live, and you can see where we kind of fall within the geography and where our town administrator landed. I will also add that that number for FY 26, 126, it was actually higher a few years before with our previous town administrator. So if we had stayed on that trend, we probably last year would have been around 150, but we went down.
Awesome, thank you. So just as a follow-up, North Middlesex, the school district will be negotiating 5 union contracts as well. A couple years ago, we heard Chief Shepherd mention how we needed to increase salaries so that we could be competitive with all of the fire and EMS in the local areas. We looked at the police. I voted for the override, and unfortunately didn't pass, but Chief Sartell mentioned how we're unable to compete with the local communities and retain people. We're now talking about the town administrator. You mentioned at the North Middlesex budget hearing that in order to keep the school budget down, basically draw a hard line in the sand of 2.5%, and that's it, which really ties the hands of the school district to hire people and stay competitive with the local surrounding communities. So I know the schools will probably always get a no from this community. I know the teachers will always be told 0.5%, 1%, all of that, while we fund justifiably every other department in town. So I just wanted to be aware that, yes, the school district is also trying to compete with local municipalities and hire people and retain people.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, is there anything else to be said on general government? Here's we're ready to vote. All those in favor, and correct me if I'm wrong, the bottom line here is line 254, and the total is $1,872,446. All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. All right, next section is public safety, and I believe the total for that, and you've got another slide. Mr. Meehan, do you want to walk us through that?
Yes, sir. This functional segment, public safety, includes police, fire, emergency management, Patriot Dispatch, your tree warden, animal inspector, and building department. Your fiscal year 2026 approved budget was just about $4.26 million. Fiscal year 2027 proposed budget is $4.235 million. This is actually a reduction of about 3/4 of a point compared to last year. Some of the growth drivers for this is related to a police chief contract wage adjustment, police wages. So when we agreed at the March 19th special town meeting, it was a 1-year agreement, and within that agreement is something called an evergreen clause, which ensures those hardworking police officers that they receive the same raise, but they did not receive the wage adjustment. I know that was the bigger elephant in the room there for that meeting, as well as the override vote. We are also looking at the fire chief EMS director salary, as this is a contract that will be looking for us to be working through for that role in the next half year or so. So that's something that will also have an increased salary proposed. In terms of areas of reduction, these groups have been very resourceful. Inspectional services, police has done reductions in dues and memberships, equipment rental, some other services they have. Fire department includes reductions in allowances, training, and on-call wages. And we're also looking at reduction in building department service hours as a way to keep these budgets fiscally responsible.
All right, public safety. Is there any questions on the public safety portion of the budget? And, the Finance Committee recommendation is?
The recommendation, this section has been adjusted with the fact that the override failed, so we had agreed on this amount in the meeting, so we're in agreement and recommend this section.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hayes. All right, here's, we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the appropriation of, where are we?
Public safety.
Public safety. I just keep flipping back and forth for different pages here. And item 501, the total is $4,235,110. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Okay, yeah, actually, you got one?
I'm good.
All right, next section is education, which the budget proposes $17,117,414.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I can do the same thing here. Functional segment for education. A lot of numbers on the left-hand side of the screen. So I'll quickly touch on what the fiscal 2026 budget number was, which was 16.7, almost $16.8 million. That was a total approved budget for fiscal year 2026. In 2027, the proposed budget in totality, as mentioned earlier, is about $17.12 million. This is a growth of 2.1% compared to last year. Very important to note that the school, North Middlesex Regional School District Committee shared a budget reduction with the town of Townsend, as well as the other adjoining communities, of about $110,000 or so. I'm realizing now that my math is off by $9, which is troubling to me. This, we're, as mentioned before, looking to put this into a salary reserve, to work with our bargaining unit agreements. That includes police, highway, water, supervisors, clerical, and potentially unemployment bucket, because sometimes that happens in towns. So that is sort of the budget note here to be shared with folks. As someone who's a select board member in their own community, this is my one opinion moment here of the night. The fact that your school came in just around 2% is remarkable. My community is not able to do that as part of a regional school district. So I can't imagine how tight the belts are for the school district. It's remarkable. That's all I can say to that. So.
All right, comments come on education. Ms. Greeno.
Kim Greeno, Wallace Hill Road. I wonder if there's anyone here from the school committee, especially the finance piece. You're right. I think it was remarkable that our school committee does every budget year work with the town, and they have made so many reductions so that Townsend can balance its budget, and they do that at the expense of our kids. We need to stop that. The North Middlesex budget is not a big pot of money for Townsend to balance its budget. Is it just me? Hi, Carol.
There may be a couple members in the audience, but.
All right, comments come on the education portion of the budget. Yep, I'm sorry, sir, what's your name again? Say it loud and clear.
Jacek Łazanowski, 16 Alisa Drive. I know I will sound like a broken record, but we are limited to 2.5% tax raise annually. Inflation is pretty much year by year higher than that. So every year we're falling behind. The only remedy that we have is an override, which keeps failing. So, do you believe in magic? I guess we do, because this money has to come from somewhere. And right now, we are underpaying our employees, because they are our employees. So as a boss, we're not doing a very good job. I would not really want to work for a boss like this, because I would be underpaid. So I think there is a big task in front of all of us to take this message out and convince our neighbors, our friends, people we work with, that an override at this point is a necessity. It's not because we're spending money left and right and we don't know what we're doing. It's because we fell behind so badly, and I did the calculations during one of the previous meetings. We're already quite far behind. Thank you.
All right, comments come on the motion, on the education. All right, folks. Anything else to be said on education? The total amount is $17,117,414. Up, all right, Mr. Francois.
Hi, Keenan Francois, 2 Proctor. Vice Chair, School Committee. I just didn't catch if there was a question for that, for what you were saying, Madam.
You're right, I didn't really have a question. I do think that the school... Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I'll go ahead and... We're not supposed to back and forth, but it'll be quick. Keenan, thank you. I so appreciate what the school has done to continually do the minimum ask of the town and the towns in the district. We've, I feel, gotten into this habit of letting the towns balance their budgets on the backs of our kids. And I just would like the school district and the town fathers here to start working together to come up with a budget that truly supports our kids, because they have done so many staff reductions, so many program reductions, and we say, oh, flowers and rainbows because we found $109,000. I just want us to live in reality, please. Thank you for what you do.
Mr. Moderator, if I can just
Mr. Francois, if you can, I don't know if that can be raised or not for some folks.
It's all right, I can bend over.
All right, you can speak directly into it so people can hear you, because it's kind of hard to hear.
So just for the members of town meeting to know that the school committee starts their budget process at the end of the summer every year, and it goes until around mid-March to now. The process is long and arduous, and it requires a lot of negotiations and talking with all the towns. It's always a pleasure to work with the town of Townsend, Ashby, and Pepperell to make sure that we make a budget that works for everybody. This year, for FY27, or for budgeting for FY27, the school district had a lot going for it in terms of supplemental budget from FY26 and a remarkable lack of a health insurance increase, which does not happen and will not happen again. So the school district was relatively lucky this year, and we are fortunate to be able to support our towns in any way possible. But, you know, as always, we find ourselves in difficult positions for a variety of reasons, and for failures from the state in the form of the Student Opportunity Act, which consistently underfunds the school district, which is why year after year you've been hearing about cutting teachers and cutting services. It's because over time we just can't afford it, because the state is not doing its job to provide enough aid to us to fund level services. And that goes for the town too. The state does not provide enough unrestricted government aid for the town either. So as always, the school committee will do its best to help the town in any way possible. And it's a mutual relationship to make sure that our budgets work for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Francois. Comments come on the questions, and I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the the education budget, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Next segment is highways and streets. There is a proposed budget of $918,762.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Your functional segment. Functional segment, highway and streets, includes your highway department, streetlights, and as mentioned earlier, snow and ice. Snow and ice is a fun topic, as thankfully we don't, knock on wood, anticipate any more snow. In fiscal year 26, the approved budget was about just about $815,000. Fiscal year 2027 is just slightly under $920,000. It's growth of 12.75%. The growth drivers for this department are clearly linked to the addition of a full-time mechanic, increasing snow and ice temporary help, increasing the salt budget of 25%, and also the equipment rental or contracted plows. Those are the guys that might be running their own equipment that are plowing, for Kieran's Plow Company, and they are hired by the town on a 1099 for them to be working late shifts. The snow and ice increase ideally will reduce our reliance on deficit spending next year. You approved earlier the $313,000 of snow and ice operations for fiscal year 26. So this is sort of try to be proactive on budget planning. These departments did also take an opportunity to tighten their belts in regards to building supplies and other supplies, new equipment, other services, and then professional and maintenance services. By hiring a full-time mechanic, we're able to reduce that reliance on maintenance services, which is a great win for the town and a great budget savings. It's been a smart bit of growth for the highway department.
Okay. Comments come on the highway and streets segment. Any questions, anything to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Okay, the ayes have it. Solid waste, proposed $19,700. What a bargain. Mr. Meehan, can you explain this one?
Yes, sir. Functional segment, solid waste services. This is your landfill services. So any building maintenance, supply maintenance, communications necessary for landfill, recycling center. I called it landfill. It should be recycling center. Sorry about that. It also includes the town building contractual trash services, which are just under $10,000 for GW Shaw to empty the dumpsters and waste bins that the town buildings have here in Townsend. Same budget year over year, and it helps cover the town's liability, for that landfill recycling center management and their communication services. Thank you.
Okay. Comments come on in the solid waste portion of the budget. Any questions? Appears we're ready to vote. No, there is a question.
I'm Judy Mader, Turner Road. When are we getting rid of the purple bags?
Okay, question comes on the solid waste. When are we getting rid of the purple bags?
Sure. So that is part of your enterprise fund for your solid waste services. That would be a discussion to share with the Board of Health to ask them what their plans are for that program.
Jake Justman, West Meadow Road. I share her concern. I talked to the Board of Health. She mentioned we would be talking about it at this meeting, actually. So when I went in there and had about a half-hour conversation about the purple bags and how ridiculous it is to pay twice for the same service, I was told we were going to have a conversation here. So apparently that's not what we're going to do today.
So
Just a
one of the
little
articles we'll
frustrating.
discuss is the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund, and that's related to your Purple Bag program, so.
Yep, Mr. Kozanowski.
If I can comment, I think we can get rid of purple bags as soon as we pass a decent override.
Comments come on the motion. Right now, the purple bags are here for the time being, I guess. Is there anything else to be said? All right, it's before you. All those in favor of solid waste budget, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Next section is human services. Proposed $503,164.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. This is your Cemetery and Parks Group, your Council on Aging, Housing Authority and Housing Trusts, your Veteran Agent and Related Services, as well as your Board of Health, including the Neshoba Board of Health Services. The Neshoba Board of Health is your septic, nursing, checking dining, spaces for sanitation and such. The budget number in 2026 was just over $507,000. They were actually able to reduce their budget, just around $503,000. The primary growth driver for these groups is your wage increases. The decreases, or the reductions to the budget is your housing trust and housing authority staff and related expenses. Those two groups, I was those groups working for the town, and as a way to help balance the budget, we nearly zeroed those out, which is a shame. Council on Aging was able to look at their equipment and supplies and reduce those various line items. Cemetery and Parks, came up to a reduction in maintenance supplies as well as services to be purchased by the town.
Okay, that's, the total is $503,164 for human services. Anything to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Next is culture and recreation. It's proposed to $540,078 for culture and recreation. Mr. Meehan?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Culture and recreation includes your library, recreation department, Memorial Day, band, concerts, and flag committee. This budget in 2026 was approved at $534,000 approximately, and the proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 is $540,000 with 540.78, budget growth of just over 1%. The primary drivers for this budget segment is going to be your wages for those different staff members. Thinking of reductions is, our different, recreation, cultural type groups, Memorial Day, band concerts, and then a sizable reduction in library other purchase services. Those folks, again, tightened their belts to help the town be fiscally responsible and sort of led us to where the budget growth is today.
Okay, comments come on culture and recreation. Is there anything to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. All in favor of the, $540,078 on culture and recreation, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Unanimous. Debt service, it's proposed at $443,282 to defray the town's debt. And Mr. Meehan?
Thank you, sir. Your debt spending includes short-term bans, long-term debt, and interest on short-term loans for the town. In 2026, the town approved around $406,000 to manage debt service. In fiscal year 2027, we're proposing just around $443,000, budget growth of just over 9%. This is in relation to some purchases that were made by the town using our debt as a tool to manage those purchases. And that was related to the short-term debt for those acquisitions for the town. Currently, we don't have any projects before us or large acquisitions this current annual town meeting for any more additions. So that's why the growth is just over 9%.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Meehan. Comments come on debt service. Is there any questions about that category? If we're ready to vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. And insurances, the proposed sum to pay the town's insurance bill is $2,994,864. Mr. Meehan?
Thank you, sir. Insurances, so this includes your county retirement, unemployment, staff and health and life insurance, Medicare and general insurance assets, general insurance for town assets. In fiscal year 2026, the approved number was just about $2.7 million. The proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 is 2.9, almost $3 million, with about a 9.5% budget increase. Health insurance for the town of Townsend, and like our vice chair of the school committee shared, is a large hurdle for many communities to afford. It's the largest cost driver for this segment. Just speaking as an interim TA for your community, having been at MMA this past spring, there was a range from Maya, which helps sort of collaborate on these costs, from a 4% to as high as 18%. Townsend was 12.09% increase. So we were in the top 60th percentile there. Thankfully, we were not 18%. I think some of our neighboring communities in the area are looking at that 18% increase. And it's a sizable number to have to battle. But thankfully, we're able to balance our situation out with some other areas of reductions. Not a lot of reductions in the insurance line item, unfortunately. I wish I had more rosier news to share with you.
All right. Any comments, questions on the insurance portion of the budget? Appears to be none. I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of this section, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. That brings us, I don't believe any changes were made. So for the total for the town's budget is $28,644,820.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Costa.
Mr. Moderator, if I could, I just want to be clear that in the final voting on the entire budget, it is not just on the sum that was recited, but it's also on what is printed in the warrant under Article 8, more specifically, both the raise and appropriate from revenues, but also the transfers from the various accounts that are listed in the warrant.
So that is Article 8.
Yep, so this was at the top
So
of
we
the
are
slide.
also, in the warrant, you'll see that some of the funds that are paying for this budget are coming from the Title V MWPAT, $20,879. Ambulance receipts reserved for operating EMS is $700,000. Solid waste indirect for solid waste overhead is $17,169. And the water enterprise, the water department overhead is $482,225. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that is money that is being transferred from those departments to help pay for the budget.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the final vote then would be to approve the budget and the transfer of those funds to pay part of the budget bill. The rest is from raising and appropriating. All right, all those in favor of the final line item on the budget and the transfers, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. And that was Article 8.
Thank you.
Article 9, to see if the town will vote to raise, well, rather, I'm sorry, to vote to appropriate PFAS settlement monies received in calendar year 2025 in the amount of $648,332.41. Allocate these funds to the PFAS Maintenance Fund. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate the sum of $648,332.41 from PFAS settlement funds to the PFAS maintenance fund for treatment plant debt, media replacement, maintenance, and system improvements.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Anything to be said? Yep.
Judy Lewin Mader, Turner Road. I just wanted to ask, if you are a person who has a well, do we pay for this too? Well owners? No? Oh, great. Thank you.
All right, question comes on the motion for Article 9. Anything further to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. Sure I'm not missing anybody up there. All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, it's unanimous. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $2,497,508 or any other sum from Water Enterprise Fund revenues to operate the Water Department for fiscal year 2027. And in order to fund the cost of intermunicipal expenses, that $482,225 of this sum or any other sum be appropriated in the general fund or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I
Yep.
move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,497, $2,497,508 from the Water Enterprise Fund revenues to operate the Water Department for fiscal year 2027 with $482,225 of such sum transferred to the general fund for intermunicipal expenses.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded on Article 10. Are there any comments and questions? Appears we're ready to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, it's unanimous. Article 11, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $797,237 or any other sum from Solid Waste Enterprise Fund revenues to operate the Solid Waste Department for fiscal year 2027. And in order to fund the cost of intermunicipal expenses, that $17,169 of this sum or any other sum be appropriated in the general fund or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate $797,237 from Solid Waste Enterprise Fund revenues to operate the Solid Waste Department for fiscal year 2027, with $17,169 of such sum transferred to the general fund for intermunicipal expenses.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded on Article 11. Is there any comments or questions? Yeah, sir, Mr.
Just a very short, quick question. What is a solid waste department? Because I think I missed it in a structure of our town.
Yes.
Question comes on the motion.
Sure. So that is your pay-as-you-throw trash program that I'm guessing folks are asking and related to the purple bags.
Okay, Mr. Justman?
Mr. Justman, West Menlo. So yeah, now is the time to ask about the purple bags and when we can stop doing that practice.
All right, is there anyone here from Board of Health that can comment to that? All right, Finance Committee?
Yeah, just because we have the information, the Board of Health has prepared the FY27 and keeping the purple bags at the 350 right now. No increase in there. And the sticker, I believe, is going to be 150 this year. If we were to move, the idea and the start of the program was potentially in the future to reduce the price or eliminate the price on the purple bag. We're not there yet. We're only nearing the end of the first year. By the end of the second year, there will be more data to measure and see how to proceed in the future years, FY28 and beyond.
That was the story we got the first year.
This is the first year.
Yeah, we
It's-
got that, when it was first getting introduced, that was the story. It was a one-year deal. Right,
Correct,
so,
correct.
hold on one second. I've lived a lot of places. This is the, by far, dumbest situation I've ever seen. Okay? You can choose to sell garbage by container size or just by a regular subscription, right? You can make it fit anybody's budget by really having some thought behind it. What we're doing right now is increasing our plastic waste by having everybody have extra garbage bags put inside garbage bags, paying for the same service twice, and while we're at it, we get to increase the amount of rodent and disease that's going to happen because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but some of those purple bags just kind of get strewn across town because they get left out, and then that acts like a beacon for our rodent population. Say, hey, there's food there.
Comments come on the motion. And anything further? All right, Ms. Congdon.
I'm Irene Congdon at 133 Brookline Street, Townsend, Mass. I am the chair of the Townsend Recycling Committee. This question can be brought up at the Board of Health meeting or the Townsend Recycling Committee. I just want to share our program has been a success. It's only been a year of all the changes of overrides failing at the last minute, and our program has been amazing. Our residents are saving money. You have control over your trash. If you go and speak to some other towns, they are now paying $800 for trash. Some are paying $600 a year for trash, and it's going up, especially but we have a great contract with Shaw's, and because we have the purple bag, you can put out one bag and pay for one bag, go away for a week, 2 weeks, and then pay a bag. You have control over your trash. When we get away from the purple bag, you can talk to Shirley. They're paying $600 for a town contract. It just goes up and up, but we have control. Our trash is down, our contract's down. We have the town Board of Health and the town residents and the hall are working together. So we have a great program. So thank you. And this is just moving money from the enterprise fund into the budget. So this is good. So thank you.
Comments come on the motion on Article 11. Anything else to be said? Ms. Greeno.
Kim Greeno, Wallace Hill Road. I just want to respond to those most recent comments. And obviously I feel the frustration. It's clear. Everybody in town's frustrated. I never understood that it was going to be a one-year thing. I understood that the first year was when they were going to be collecting the data to establish how the funding and the volumes of waste were going to work long-term, which seemed reasonable to me. The gentleman who's lived in lots of places maybe has not been at lots of town meetings where we will discuss for a stupid amount of time the trash, and we will spend a stupid amount of money on override votes for the trash. I, for one, am happy it's resolved in this enterprise fund. Thank you.
Okay, comments come on the motion. Anything further? I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion on Article 11, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise, appropriate, borrow, transfer from available funds in the Treasury and the Water Enterprise Fund the sum of $268,620 or any other sum for the purpose of funding a portion of the fiscal year 27 capital plan as voted by the Capital Planning Committee as detailed below, or take any other action in relation thereto. And I'm not going to read all those that are printed in the warrant. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I move that the town raise and appropriate and transfer from available funds the sum of $668,620 to fund the fiscal year 2027 capital plan as presented in the May 5th, 2026 annual town meeting for the Highway Department, the cat loader at $31,100 from capital stabilization. From the Police Department, a lease payment on 4 cruisers for $102,520 from the general fund, and from the Fire Department, bunker gear at $135,000 from the sale of properties.
Second.
Okay, what's your point of order and who is it?
Sure. For the highway department, that one? The total number, $268,620.
Okay. Comments come on the motion, Article 12. Anything further to be said? All right, I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash or other available funds in the treasury the sum of $8,000 for the purpose of funding the assessor's fiscal year 27 periodic inspections and property data verification program as mandated by the Massachusetts Department of Revenue, Bureau of Local Assessments, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town transfer from free cash the sum of $8,000 for the fiscal year 2027 Assessor's Periodic Inspections and Property Data Verification Program.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded on Article 13. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to appropriate from the PEG Access Receipts Reserved Account the sum of $152,844, funds equal to the 5% of Comcast gross annual revenues in Townsend for the first, second, and third quarters of fiscal year 26 and the fourth quarter of fiscal year 25, subject to receipt and availability, and authorize the Select Board and the Town Administrator to expend and distribute said funds to towns and community access media on a quarterly basis for the purpose of funding the annual funding of the production and broadcast of public education and government access television on terms contained in a certain grant agreement between the town and towns and community access media, effective January 1st, 2026, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town appropriate the sum of $152,844 from PEG Access Receipts Reserved Account and authorize the Select Board and Town Administrator to expend and distribute such funds to Town and Community Access Media, Inc. on a quarterly basis for the purpose of funding PEG Access television production and broadcast in accordance with the January 1st, 2026 grant agreement with the town.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded on Article 14. Anything to be said? Appears we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion on Article 14, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to amend Chapter 124 of the General Bylaws entitled Town Meeting, Section 6, entitled Service of the Warrant, by striking said section in its entirety and inserting in place thereof the following, which is printed in the warrant, and I will ask for a motion.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, I move that the town amend Chapter 124, Section 6 of the General Bylaws regarding service of the warrant as presented in the May 5th, 2026 Annual Town Meeting warrant.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. I missed something there.
Lori seconded.
Yep, Lori seconded.
What?
Lori seconded the motion, sir.
All right, but it seemed like there was more to it. I'm sorry, I can't hear people over here. If you folks could please stop talking. Could you read the motion again?
I move that the town amend Chapter 124, Section 6 of the General Bylaws regarding service of the warrant as presented in the May 5th, 2026 Annual Town Meeting warrant.
Okay.
Lori seconded
And
that.
seconded, all right. There's some comment about this, because it seems different than what's printed.
Are you looking for someone to read the full text of the posting? Is that what you're looking for, John?
Yeah, I mean, because
Okay.
it's talking about changing the locations here, right?
Okay.
Correct.
I mean, I try to cut some corners so I don't have to read it.
That's fine.
But
I can do that.
I think,
It's not a problem.
does anybody want to hear the whole motion? No?
Or do you want me to summarize
All right,
it
as
for you?
printed in the warrant. Ms. Wright?
summarize. So the background for this is we were supposed to have a February special town meeting, and it was right around that snowstorm, that big February 24th, 25th. And we were going to have to post the warrant at the West Townsend Reading Room. That's one of your posting locations. When we had 2 feet of snow dropped on us, the select board said, well, how can we get someone through the snow to post it on the door to be accessible to the public? And in that lens, if I were a resident trying to get up the steep stairs to see that warrant, I may or may not have rolled my ankle because I have brittle ankles. And it occurred to me that maybe this is an opportunity for the select board to modify the posting locations for your warrant articles for various town meetings, annual town meeting and special town meetings, so that if there's a huge snowstorm again, we're not sending an officer to post a warrant on a door and then anticipating residents have to traverse the stairs to get to that warrant. When as we could have used in the West Townsend Historic District, we could have used the West Townsend Firehouse. It would have been just as good. It would have now allowed us some nimble thinking to help the town get information out to residents.
All right, any questions? Mr. Suford?
Hi, Richard Shuford, Maplewood Drive. I completely understand why you may be wanting to make a modification into the posting locations. Is there a new proposed list of posting places that is in prospect?
Yeah, I think, to replace the West Townsend Reading Room, we would look at the West Townsend Fire Station as an alternative, so folks in that part of town have access to see the warrant. And we know those folks do a great job clearing the stairways and access so residents could find the warrant if need be. It also allows us to post it online as an official location as well, which adds a double resource for residents.
Okay, well, the text here says it may be used as a supplemental method for online. All right, but this list of locations will be on file in the clerk's office, I take it?
Yes, sir.
And is it well, I will save questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Comments come on the motion? Ms. Greeno?
Kim Greeno, Wallace Hill Road. The proposed language for the postings, will that change the number of places where it's posted compared to the number of places where it's posted currently?
The charter sets the number of
Question comes on the motion.
1 second. Sure.
Good question.
And if I could pose a question myself, how will people know where these postings are going to be once it's decided? I mean, is it going to be just prior to the snowstorm that change the locations? Or are we going to have a regular place where we can expect to go check the warrant if you wanted to?
I think it would be a regular place, and then collaboration with the town clerk's office, which shares these locations on their website, as well as the town website, Facebook, and then, if you stop by town hall, it may also share with you the locations for access to the warrants in person.
It's always posted at the town hall in any event?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, it's before you. Any other questions?
There's nothing in the charter to Ms. Kim Greeno, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, for the number of locations, so.
Ms. Wright, did you have a question?
Carol Wright, 128 Warren Road. Yeah, I'm not happy with this at all. I'd like a definite list of where things are going to be, like it has been. If you want to change the locations of where you think it'd be more accessible to people, that would be fine with me, but to give us a list. Not everybody goes on the internet. Not everybody has cable TV that gets the town information. I think we need it here in writing where these are going to be posted.
Comments come on the motion. Anything further to be said?
If I can,
Yep, Ms.
Mr. Meyer?
Goodrich.
I don't think the intention of this is to constantly change the locations by which it's posted, but to have a discussion with the town clerk and the select board to figure out those best locations, keeping with the spirit of the original language, and not consistently change it, but just to give us that flexibility if a building is offline or not accessible. If there's an unfortunate incident with the building, we could change it at that time. The intention isn't to continuously change it.
Okay, comments come on the motion. Anything further to be said? Oh, okay. Spofford.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Kathleen Spofford, 312 Main Street. Historically, the warrant has been posted in 5 locations around town, at least one in each precinct. Whether that's in the bylaw or not, that's what's happened over the years. And it should be posted, it should be listed in the bylaw where it's going to be posted. Otherwise, no one's going to know. And if you don't know the location now, why are we changing it now?
Comments come on the motion. Mr. Mayor?
I support this amendment. I think that the way it's written right now provides certain additional operational flexibility to the town's governance infrastructure. It allows the select board to vote to set. I don't know if it would be as one of their policies or as some other document. And I don't think this is something that would be changing on a regular basis. This is something that would be set, and then let's say a building comes offline, or something happens. Then it would change. This wouldn't be something changing all the time. I think once it's posted up and we have that new list, it'll be made available everywhere, and everyone will be able to see that. And it's not something that I envision will change all the time. So I support this amendment, and I would ask you to support it as well.
Okay, Mr. Schubert.
At the risk of belaboring a point, my experience in using the current provision of posting the articles had a frustration at one point. I went to the front of Memorial Hall. This was 2 years ago. I went to the front of Memorial Hall to read the warrant, which was then posted, and I found that, yes, a warrant was posted on the front porch of the Memorial Hall. However, it was posted in a locked glass cabinet, and I could not read past the first page. And this was rather difficult for me in order to understand the contents of the warrant. And so I hope that a new method of posting it might be devised which allows access to all of the pages, wherever those postings end up being.
Comments come on the motion.
Thank you, sir.
And, sir? Yep.
Chris Thurrott, 102 Pierce Road. I move to table this until the clarifications that are being asked for can be inserted.
Okay. The motion to table would basically allow us to bring it up again later in the meeting. If no action is taken to take it from the table, it would require another motion and a new town meeting to bring it forward. So effectively, if it isn't brought up again tonight, effectively it's a motion to take no action. Right. So, the motion is made and seconded to do that, and that's in order. Is there anything to be said about that? All right. I think we can decide now what we want to do on that particular point. So all those in favor of tabling this motion, that's the motion that was made, and there was a second, so all those in favor of tabling the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no.
No.
Ooh. Well, I would count that. I think we're going to have to call the counters up for that one. Yep. Please.
Get the clickers out. They're so cool.
Okay. We got all our counters still? Yep. All right, yeah, you guys doing the stage too? Yeah, we're doing the stage. Okay, and these folks aren't voting. So all those in favor of the motion to table the motion on Article 15, please stand. I don't count this as a tie.
Tabling stand. I thought it was a pretty crafty motion, for what it's worth. I spent a lot of time on that. February. Like, what were we supposed to do?
Once it's set, it's set. You don't have to change it all the time.
Because we're going to change it. I think
Right. We get 2 feet of survival. Go on the other side? Because we don't know. It could change. 29. Why isn't it the high school? It should be the high school door. That's true. Kind elder goat. It's like, we can't see it. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Modica said about at Christmas. He's like, or at February, he's like, dude, there's no way. Yeah, no one's seeing us.
Okay.
Most of them are standing.
Okay, everyone that voted aye can sit down. All those who want to vote no, please stand. No.
People back here.
Free, take the free cash. It's okay.
Keep rolling away on battle too.
Oh, okay. Just let it ride.
The table.
Okay. Good. No, it doesn't because it requires a two-thirds vote. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So the vote is 92 in favor of tabling and 47 opposed. This is a motion, kind of a curious thing. It requires a two-thirds vote, so the motion does not pass. So but the original motion is now before you to take action on Article 15. Is there anything further to be said? Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Heidi Messing, Proctor Road. Move the question.
Okay, motion to move the question. Not debatable. Was there a second? Second. Yeah. All right, motion made and seconded to move the question. This does require a two-thirds vote as well. So all those in favor of moving the question, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The matter is before you to vote yes or no on the motion on Article 15 to change the method of service of the warrant. All those in favor of the motion on Article 15, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. No. The ayes have it. That's a main motion, only requires a majority vote. Article 16, to see if the town will vote for disposition and authorize the Select Board in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, if and as applicable, to dispose of the property at 264 Dudley Road, Townsend, also known as the West Townsend Reading Room, on such terms and conditions as the Select Board deems appropriate, whether by sale through public auction, sealed bid, request for proposals, or otherwise, as recommended by the Townsend Properties Committee, and to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the transfer thereof, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town declare the property at 264 Dudley Road available for disposition and authorize the Select Board to dispose of it in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30B, on such terms and conditions as the Select Board deems appropriate, and to execute any and all documents necessary to effect its transfer.
This one keeps me alive. This one's just Townsend.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any presentations on this, or is there any?
Yes, sir. I know this is a widely debated topic. 264 Dudley Road is also known as the West Townsend Reading Room. Having walked through that building and respected and understood its history, I know it's of historic importance to the West Townsend District. I've chatted with Townsend Facilities Group, and when we look at deferred maintenance and septic needs, I recognize, and I think the Select Board recognized, that the town does not have the financial abilities to oversee that septic maintenance and investigation work, as well as the deferred maintenance. And I believe the Select Board is asking residents to consider, putting the property up for sale so that it might be under the proper stewardship within the historic district. For those thinking about tax roll purposes, because I always look at things that way, if the property were assessed at approximately $350,000, it would yield a tax bill around $4,800 per year. When we consider exploratory work for the septic system, because the building is not usable during the winter months because the septic system is not functional, we are estimating between $5,000 to $8,000 for exploratory septic work. And that does not include the engineering and design work that would be required to be sufficient to align with Board of Health and Massachusetts measures to have a properly functioning septic system. By way of construction folks, you'd be budgeting $30,000 for the replacement of a septic system. And this still does not cover the exterior facade that needs to be replaced, your back gutters, your back windows, all aspects of the exterior of the building, which must meet historic requirements, are in such deferred maintenance that Townsend Facilities estimates around 6 figures to get the building up to speed. And at this current time, we don't foresee a budget world in the next few years that could help the town repair that building.
All right.
Just one quick thing, Mr. Moderator.
Yep.
I believe, and I'm not going to speak for the board, but we're looking for this body's guidance on this, and you'll see another property. Our budget is very, very slim, and we need this board's guidance, this legislative body's guidance on where you want us to put our efforts. That's why we bring this to you. It's not in our interest of disposing it, but it's going to cost funds and energy that the administration is very short supply in right now. We have many buildings that we have to maintain outside of these two, and so we're looking for your guidance on where those efforts are going to go.
Any comments come on the motion? I think I saw Ms. Stockwell first.
Mr. Moderator, Julia Stockwell, 203 Lunenburg Road, West Townsend. This property was actually donated to the town in 1929
38.
by Maddie French Homer. And she did it because we didn't really have a library up at West Townsend. And in order to access books, you had to go down to the center. And the center library was in the fire department until Memorial Hall was built, and then they had a library there. All right, and the other building that's up for possible sale is the Hart Library, and that didn't come into fruition until 1929. Maddie, when she passed, bequeathed to the town $10,000 with the interest to be used to maintain that building. And it's 2 acres, according to what I read, not 1 acre. Okay? So I really feel we've lost the seminary. We're losing a lot of our historical buildings in town, and that's what Townsend is really known for. You know, we're lucky the harbor has the Historical Society, and they're doing a lot to preserve that. So I think losing the reading room, which can provide an income to the town, can help the budget, because there are not that many places you can rent except for Memorial Hall, and maybe the VFW if you're a veteran. So I think you really have to look at this and just see, you know, if you really want to get rid of these buildings, because once they're gone, they're gone. We also have a CPA fund that got voted in, which I was really against at the time, but now I'm really happy we have it because now there are funds there to help with this particular situation. Would you like to go now?
Well, if they don't mind, I think...
That's okay.
All right, Ms. Craven?
You did say we could make presentations. I did email one to the interim town administrator. I don't know if you saw it. Is it possible to bring that up to show some pictures?
This isn't my computer here, so if you have a flash drive, perhaps I can play ball.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Kim Craven, 87 Lunenburg Road. It's a little bit hard to disaggregate one from the other, but before us tonight, we have a really hard decision to make, I think, for our community. But we need to reflect on these buildings and what they can mean for our community. As Julia pointed out, the reading room was provided to us as a gift by the Homer family. There was a connection to Winslow Homer, and they lived in what is now Delaney's Clock Shop. This is a recent photo, yesterday, of the reading room. It was rented until last fall. It has an endowment, as Julia mentioned, for upkeep. $17,027. I'm not sure. If someone could find the account, that would be great. Val, what is the real number?
27.
It's about 27,000. 10 has to be kept in perpetuity. 17
Excellent.
is available.
So 17 available. We finally have the Community Preservation Act. Julia and I had quite the discussion. When we were trying to get it passed, she was very much against it at the time. We do have it. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's a vital asset for our community. The VFW is there. We will have Harbor Church at some point. But this facility, if you could go to the next slide, this is what the interior looks like. It is beautiful. I hadn't been in there since I was a kid. It was a while ago. I wasn't sure what I would be walking into. It is in really good shape. Could you go to the next slide, please? This is the exterior. It actually is in pretty good shape. For those of you that don't know, I grew up the kid of a builder. I look at it with a keen eye to see, is it salvageable? Is it really in disrepair? It's really not. The floor is a little bit worn. Takes a little bit of sweat equity to bring that floor back up to a nice shine. It's handicap accessible, and it's solid. It's on sonotubes. It's been done. You can see the exterior there, and that's the heart already. Would it be worthwhile to investigate the septic? Absolutely. There's actually some new upgrades that have been being promoted for septic designs that are really good for near rivers, which obviously the reading room is. An 8-person, 8-stall septic is $25,000. This is not an 8-stall septic. This is a 1-stall septic. So to get a septic in like that is pretty, affordable for us. When we redid Memorial Hall, it was sweat equity, but we did it. We raised the funds. I am willing to write grants. Last year for the Reed Homestead, I wrote 2 grants. There were 2 projects that they said they wanted done. I wrote the grants. I'd be willing to do it here. Is there some better weatherization that could be done? Absolutely. Is it super expensive? No. It has a great kitchen. I didn't take a picture of that. This is a spot where families can rent at a really low cost for a beautiful spot to host gatherings. We talk about having affordable housing in our community, smaller homes. This allows those families to host events. They can have meals in there, they can have receptions, family gatherings, there's outdoor space for kids' activities. Now is absolutely the wrong time to be taking this away from our community. Right now, as part of the Small Towns Collaborative, it's a 6-community effort that was spearheaded by Representative Scarsdale, is about to launch a survey with the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments looking at our community assets in tourism. Let's find out the results in what people want. Give us a shot at raising some funds for this. We can sell later. We can never get it back. Give us an opportunity. We already sketched out bylaws for the Friends of Historic Properties of Townsend. We're ready to file it if you give us time and see how we can do. If we fail, sell it later. Real estate will always go up. It's never going to go down.
Comments come on the motion. Ms. Churchville, you were up next.
Yeah, I would like to, Mary Jane Churchville, 292 Main Street, Townsend. I would like to make a motion to take no action on this article.
Okay. Let me double check here. I think we... So typically, we take a motion to take no action when the proponent doesn't want to take action on it. But that is not necessarily the case. There is a possibility to postpone indefinitely, which is about the same thing. So I'm going to take it as a motion to take no action, to postpone indefinitely, bring it back. I think the town has the ability to say yay or nay if that's what they want to do. To do this, and did we have a second on that?
Second.
Yeah. And it is debatable. So, is there anything further to be said about that point of taking no action or laying on the table? I'm sorry, postponing indefinitely. All right, not seeing any more debate. I think we can vote on postponing indefinitely on this motion. All those in favor of postponing indefinitely, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Okay. To see if Article 17. See if the town will vote to declare available for disposition and authorize the Select Board in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, if and as applicable, to dispose of the following property or properties shown on the table below on such terms and conditions as the Select Board deems appropriate, whether by sale or through public auction or sealed bids, as further provided in the Article 17. Is there a motion?
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town declare certain properties available for disposition and authorize the Select Board to dispose of them in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30B, on such terms and conditions as the Select Board deems appropriate, and to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate their transfer, said properties being listed in the May 5th, 2026 Annual Town Meeting warrant.
You might want to say
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any explanation for this article?
One friendly amendment. I would like to remove 264 Dudley Road from
Number 23 at the bottom of the table.
Right, that's West Townsend Reading Room. Right. Okay.
I'm happy to.
Mr. Meehan, essentially, I think you did explain the rationale behind the sale of the reading room, which was to leave it to the voters to see whether or not they want to maintain this building or to put it up for sale.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And this is, if you can briefly paraphrase that, is that the same case here?
Yeah, same concept here. You'll note that most of these are vacant parcels of land in different sort of boroughs of town, Sumac, Proctor, Laurel Lane, and they're, small, mostly, damp, vernal pool type parcels that could be, offered to someone to put goats on, honeybees, sunflowers, whatever might be compliant with conservation type, type ideas. The ones at the bottom of the list will, we removed number 23, 264 Dudley Road. 276 Main Street is your old Hart Library. That I know is of, a beautiful building that is full of debris and in disrepair. And then 182 Warren Road is a parcel that has limited frontage and some debris and an old abandoned parcel or abandoned building on it. So the select board is looking for your input and perhaps the option to sell this to generate some funds for the town.
Okay, comments come on the motion. I think Ms. Stockwell.
Mr. Moderator, I'm not sure exactly what the interim town administrator said about the Hart Library.
I said it has quite a bit of debris, it's in disrepair, and it is in need of rehabilitation to make it compliant with modern day standards for accessibility.
Okay, several years ago, 30 years to be exact, they tried to put in a septic system in that area. Because it's on the river, they could not do it. So just so that you were aware, the Hart Library is connected to the town septic system.
I actually found out that it is not, so I appreciate
Then they changed it.
The Board of Health let me know that it's in its own septic system.
Okay, well, it's still a beautiful building, and again, it's in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
center of town. And you really have to stop and think about if we're going to just trash all these buildings and get rid of them. That is what Townsend is known for, is a lot of the historic buildings that it does have. It was, again, donated to the town. So I'm going to let somebody else discuss this.
All right, I think, Mr. Streeter, you deferred to Ms. Churchville? Because you were ahead of her, I thought. Oh, okay. Are you deferring? Okay, Mrs. Churchville. Ms. Churchville.
Mary Jane Churchville, 292 Main Street. I'd like to make an amendment to this motion to remove both 264 Dudley Road, the West Townsend Reading Room, and the Hart Library from this sale of properties.
Second.
264 was already removed.
All right, I
so-
think there was a friendly amendment to remove the West Townsend Reading Room, 264 Dudley Road, anyway. So is it only, it's only necessary to remove if your motion, to affect your motion to remove the Hart Library?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Streeter? I'm sorry, the motion is, was there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay. All right, motion to amend the motion to remove 276 Main Street, the old Hart Free Library. Is there any discussion on that amendment? All right, appears to be, I'm not sure. Did you want to speak on that? Okay, all right. And Mr. Streeter, you don't want to speak on that motion?
Nope, that's not what I'm here for.
Okay, so we're ready to vote is,
I'm just questioning Pat Durkin, 16...
come on, use the mic, please.
My name is Pat Durkin, I'm at 16 Sumac, and there's 5 lots that are listed on there. They're vacant for a reason, it's absolute swamp. So I don't understand, so these aren't building lots, these are lots that are going to be sold to people for other use?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the motion to amend the article to strike 276 Main Street is before us. And it appears no one wants to speak to that issue. Ms. King?
I think we have not had enough to discuss the issues with the Hart Library. I think we're moving too quickly to remove that from the list right now. I'd rather keep it on the list and let us have a more healthy discussion about some of the issues and the history of what's been going on in the last 30 years with that building, and what are we going to do? Let it sit there for another 30 years if we take it off this list? I'd like to have a healthier, lengthier discussion before we just take it off the list at this point. I mean, I don't know what
Okay.
we're going to do
All right.
with it, but I'm against removing it from the list this early in the conversation.
All right, so that comments come on the motion about removing the Hart Library from the list. Anything to be said further about that motion, to amend the motion? Ms. Craven?
So now we can speak about why we want it off the list?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have my slides back? So this is the exterior of the Hart Library from yesterday. Not the brightest picture, but you can see the exterior is still in pretty decent shape. If you want to go to the next slide, please. The Hart Library, it's a classic revival, and one of the next speakers is going to be much more educated on that topic, and when she's recognized, we'll speak. But this is a really good picture that she took, and you can see the majesty in which this building was built. It is really beautiful. You know, take away the weeds from the front, and it still looks pretty good from the outside. Go ahead, Mr. TA. This is the entrance as it faces the town hall. As pointed out, it is not ADA compliant, so there would be some work required for ADA compliance. This is one of the lighting fixtures in there. You can see that it is still there, vintage intact. You can see some of the detail of the molding. Go ahead, next slide. Here you can see the storage of it. Down the center, there's a lot of stuff in there, but you can see that the woodwork is still intact. The vintage lighting, the wood remains. There's grants that are available. June 4th, the One Stop is due. That is a comprehensive statewide grant. There's a rural development piece. I have written the Properties Committee and asked them to remove this from the list prior to the town meeting. I had written them last week for a multitude of reasons. I think a facility that we have in our hand that was a gift to our town, we needed a little more thought, a full building assessment. What would it really take to bring it to ADA compliance? What does our town need to do with the historic records that we need to keep? How do we need to store those, and where will they be stored? What could we repurpose this as? And many of these are talked about within our community. Maybe none of them would be an ultimate, but we have a person in our community that is the grandniece of E.B. White, Charlotte's Web, and Stuart Little. It's been talked about a museum for that. It's been talked about for historic records. It's been talked about as a place for juried artisans to have space. It's been talked about for co-working space. It's been talked about for a tea room. It's been talked about for general meeting space. It's been talked about as a youth center. The uses for this building for our community are multiple. Is anything that I've said what it needs to be? Maybe not, but we haven't been asked. We haven't gathered as a community to discuss what we want this gift, and I'll repeat, this gift by Charles Hart and Amanda Dwight, to our community, to the townspeople, to be for the future. It was a gift. Could we sell it and raise some money short term? Sure. But could we put some sweat equity and find out what it could be for the long haul? Absolutely. So again, there's bylaws written, so they have to be the exact bylaws? No. But I put out a survey. There was 71 people that responded, which I believe is the amount for a town meeting. There was, check the Facebook, because I'm not going to remember exactly,
but there were 68 or 69 that said yes to keep Hart. There was one that said no, and then a few that said, let's do the study and find out. Well, I think that's the smart math. Let's sit back. I'll write the grant for June 4th to put in for the one-stop. I will knock on the door of the MRPC, because the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, because there's some smart folks over there that can support us, and say, hey, does this look good? Let's submit it. Let's use our own CPA funds and see what we can do before we sell it. Am I saying that we're not going to sell it? Maybe we will, but let's try. And there's someone, oh, we've got Kathy over there, and then we've got a new town person that I think you'll love to hear from.
Elizabeth Donison, 452 Main Street.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
What's your name, and you're a resident?
Yeah.
Okay.
West Townsend.
Okay. What's your name again?
Elizabeth Donison.
Okay. Elizabeth,
So
go ahead.
I have a master's in historic preservation. I'm an architectural historian. I have experience doing historic building assessments. And I just want to say that from a preservation standpoint, these buildings, we're talking about the one right now, but it contributes to the historic character that makes Townsend one of the most intact rural communities in Massachusetts. And once these assets are sold, their integrity cannot be guaranteed. Our local preservation laws are not strong enough to protect these buildings. They just aren't. The significance of this building to our town's history matters, and we place it in a murky water by not examining all of our options. So the question of selling this asset versus preserving it for the future public is complex, but the question should not be whether or not to keep and preserve the building, but rather how can we adapt this to our community's present need with a fiscal budget in mind. So preservation is not nostalgia, it's about managing changes in our built landscape, constantly adapting to our present needs. It's the stewardship of assets that have many values, cultural, economical, educational. Before any decision is made, these buildings deserve a full assessment, a reuse study, and a public process. Keeping these buildings in public hands, whose use is decided by the public, is a unique opportunity for our town to reflect on its history and come together to make informed, wise decisions. And anything less is just not best practice. It's a premature disposition of these important resources to our town. Thank you.
Comments come on the motion. Mrs. Spofford.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Kathleen Spofford, 312 Main Street. I am the former town clerk and the keeper of historical records. I want to speak to a very specific and practical need, the preservation of our town's historical and municipal records. Townsend, like many other older communities, has documents, records, and archival material that require proper storage, specifically climate-controlled environments to prevent deterioration. The Hart Library presents an opportunity to create a dedicated, climate-controlled space for these materials. This is not just a convenience. It is a responsibility. These records are legal documents, historical artifacts, and part of the institutional memory of the town. Without appropriate storage, we risk losing them permanently, not through a decision, but through neglect. Repurposing a portion of the building for archival use is a logical, efficient, and forward-looking solution that aligns with both preservation and municipal function. The infrastructure is already there, and it is a perfect ancillary use to whatever else might become of a proper reuse study. Selling the building eliminates that option entirely and creates a new problem we will eventually have to face, likely at a greater cost. Thank you.
Any comments come on the motion? Ms. Lord?
Hi, Sandra Lord, Wallace Hill Road. Well, we feel it's a wonderful connection to the rail trail, and it's with Old Harbor Village. Those are two very important points. Thank you.
All right, comments come on the motion. Ms. Chief, Ms. Tenney or Chief Shepherd? Ms. Tenny, you were up there.
Betty May Tenney, Elm Street. This perhaps is not the time to say this, but I want to make sure everyone knows that the 6 Elm Street is the old Townsend Fire Station. It's not a private property.
Comments come on the motion. Mr. Chief Shepherd.
No, this is Gary Shepherd. I'm talking as a private resident, 90 Old Meeting House Hill Road.
All right.
I'd like to amend the amendment, if I could, to add .15 acres, 6 Elm Street, Assessors Map 51210. A little recent historical background on that. One of Townsend's larger benefactors purchased property on Jeff Street as well as on Elm Street to give the town the opportunity for parking, septic for the Hart Free Library, and that was back in 2005, 2006 in that neighborhood. The idea to have 6 Elm Street was to give the opportunity for the Central Fire Station, another historical building, a place for parking, municipal parking, and a septic system for that. So if I may, I'd like to amend the amendment to read 276 Main Street as well as 6 Elm Street to remove those 2 parcels from the intended sales list.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to amend the amendment to include 6 Elm Street, which is not the old fire station, if I'm correct. It's the parcel adjoining the old fire station, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And 276 Main Street, the Hart Library. All right. Is there anything more to be said about striking, or the motion to amend to strike from the list those 2 properties? Understanding the reading room has already been stricken from it. All right. Thinks we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion to amend the amendment? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Streeter, I didn't see you get up again.
Colby Streeter, 230 Wallace Hill Road. Is this a vote just on that amendment, or?
No, this is a motion to amend the amendment.
Okay.
To add, we have 2 amendments here. One is to amend the amendment, and if it's amended, then you would vote on the amended amendment, and if that is approved, you would vote on the main motion. All right?
I have comments about other properties, so.
All right, so we're voting to amend the motion to amend by adding 6 Elm Street to the earlier motion to amend, which was to strike 276 Main Street, the Hart Library, from the list. So if that motion to amend is amended, then we vote on the main motion to amend, and if that passes, then we would vote on the amended motion that would strike those 2 properties from the list. All right? So, first, all those in favor of amending the amendment to include 6 Elm Street? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Okay, the amended motion is amended. So now before you is whether or not to vote your approval for the amended motion, which includes 6 Elm Street and 276 Main Street. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. All right, so now the amended motion is to strike from the motion originally made on Article, where was it? 17. Those 2 properties, that being 6 Elm Street. No, I'm sorry. We've amended it twice. Now we're just voting on the article to approve the sale of all these lots except for the 2 that have been stricken.
3.
Okay. Well, yeah, all 3. Understanding there was a friendly amendment to strike after the earlier debate about the reading room. That was stricken from the made motion, but that's okay. This would result in approving the article, the motion that's been made to sell all these properties, but deleting from that list 6 Elm Street, and 276 Main Street and 264 Dudley Road.
Yes, sir. So for those looking at the screen, 6 Elm, number 19 is off the list. 21, 276 Main Street's off the list, and 23, 264 Dudley Road are off the list. They're in red text. That means they're out.
Okay. All right. Did you want to speak to that motion, Mr. Streeter?
I don't know. I'll just speak. How about that?
Yeah, so the motion before you is the entirety of the list that's
The entirety
left
of the
behind.
list.
Yes, sir.
I think this
Yeah.
is the right time. Okay. Colby Streeter, 230 Wallace Hill Road. I'd like to offer up a few alternatives to selling some of these properties. I understand the budget problems and the want to sell these for immediate income. There's some slower revenue streams that I think you could use. The Sumac Drive properties, those are basically open water with a sliver of land, and it's on the Bixby Reservoir. Now, it's also among the Emery Road subdivision, highly populated area with no planned open space. I would suggest you reconsider those. Again, Proctor Road, those are open waters. Right behind the high school, it's a cranberry pond. And there is an area there where you could have some sort of meeting area, like a pavilion or lunch spot. Thereby, you could increase the property values of the houses around there, along with the ones on Sumac Drive. And now, that's a slower road, I understand, for getting money. But last one's Shirley Road, 9-acre property, and the Warren Road, 12-acre. I know everyone wants to develop that. But those also could be town forests. I'm not saying conservation areas, I'm saying town forests, where you could sporadically have timber cuts on them, and thereby have it as a source of income revenue to the town while maintaining it as open space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Comments come on the motion, which stands before you as amended. There's no other amendments, notwithstanding Mr. Streeter's comments. So
I think I hear Mr. Streeter's comments, and it may be something the board can take an action on, which is this enables us to move forward and take actions as such. Just because their town meeting approves them doesn't mean the select board at the end of the day will put them on the auction list as it has happened in the past. So, things like ecotourism and timbering will be something that we would probably investigate to better understand the options available to us. So,
By being on this list, are properties being designated as in surplus? Is that what this?
they are being designated to be sold off or disposed of by the town.
So they
At
have
the
to-
behest of the select board having the option, town meeting would be giving them the approval to put them on that auction list. So the select board could still say, we don't want to sell off Shirley Road, because of X, Y, Z.
Isn't there a step there where you have to say, determine that these are in surplus before they are decided to be put up for auction?
Yeah.
Is that already been done?
Yeah, Adam will probably opine on that.
Through you, Mr. Moderator, it was actually part of the motion. They're being declared available for disposition, which is effectively the equivalent of declaring them surplus, and then authorizing the select board to take any and all necessary actions to dispose of them.
Thank you.
All right. Comments come on the motion. The amended motion is before you, and it appears we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the amended motion on Article 17, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Moderator?
By a two-thirds vote.
If I can make a friendly appeal, with that guidance, the West Townsend Meeting Room actually has a board that has 0 members right now. And I think, we just received some, but we hadn't, it had previously been vacant when this article was put on the warrant. And I think, I speak for myself under this administration, having that board to manage that room would really assist with this administration with all the other facilities we're managing. So we welcome everybody And I know there had been some forms that just came in recently to assist in managing that property. There is a board, and we look forward to appointing people to it.
All right, call for volunteers. Article 18, to see if the town will vote to amend the Townsend zoning bylaws to change Chapter 145-88D2 from buffer zone, no medical marijuana treatment and dispensing facilities use or commercial marijuana cultivation activity shall be located within 500-foot radius from 2, Buffalo Zone, no medical marijuana treatment dispensing facilities use or commercial marijuana cultivation activities shall be located within a 100-foot radius from, or take any other action in relation thereto. Is there a motion? Okay, no.
What was your question, sir?
No, well, no motion, no action.
I have a report and some context from the planning board, if you will, for this, but
Okay, well, there's no motion, I guess.
Mr. Moderator,
Yeah, Mr. Cochran.
to you. So these are, the next 3 articles are all citizens petitions. So I know traditionally in some instances, the select board members have advanced those petitions, but it is commonplace in many communities for those petitions to only be advanced if the citizens who propose them are prepared to make appropriate motions. So if there's no motion from the stage, then I might recommend respectfully that you inquire as to whether any of the proponents of these petitions are present and whether they're prepared to make a motion.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was looking for. I think in
I'm
our
such a rookie
practice,
at this, I'm
that
sorry.
we don't, a citizen's petition would require the citizens to make the motion.
Is it to open the article?
Mr. Streeter, are you making the motion?
Yes, I am. I'm making a motion to open the discussion for Article 18, 19, and 20.
All right, well, do you have a motion on Article 18?
Yes.
All right, a written motion?
the motion may read that you move that the town pass Article 18 as presented in the May 5, 2026 annual town meeting. You could say so moved.
So moved.
Bingo.
Thank you.
All right, is there a second?
Same for 19 and 20.
Is there a second?
So moved again.
All right, there's a second. All right. Town clerk needs to get it in writing at some point.
Okay.
You got one? Okay. All right, Mr. Streeter, if you're the proponent.
Yes. I am the principal petitioner for these articles. Would you like me to address them one at a time, or?
One at a time. I mean, I'll give you a little liberality, so we don't have to maybe repeat everything over again for Article 19 or and 20, but you can explain generally, if you would, and what's the purpose of this motion?
Yep, the intent of the motion, and I have maps, I don't know if I can share them or not, but they're on my computer. But I can...
I don't know if it's something you can put on...
I don't have a drive, USB
the machine, the screen, or?
It's a program.
Oh,
GIS. All right.
That's okay.
Once again, this is new to me, getting into changing bylaw and town policy, bear with me. So 14588 is the medical marijuana dispensary bylaw. And the intent and purpose of the amendments here is to provide a revenue stream to the town, tax revenue, and another source of jobs. The way the bylaw is written right now, which Article 18 discusses the buffer zone that's required for residential areas, along with several other areas, which I can read off if you like. But it's a 500-foot buffer around these areas. And the only areas that are allowed to have these medical marijuana dispensaries is within the ICDs, the industrial commercial districts. Now, we have 6 of those in town. The 500-foot buffer prohibits 4 of those, limiting it to 2. Now, one is the town dump, and it's not likely for the town to start a medical marijuana dispensary, I don't think. Anyway, the other one, the only allowable area is along Scales Lane. That's the largest industrial commercial district that we have. And now, if you read into the bylaw, and the deeper you go with this, the more curtailing it really needs. This is kind of like the tip of the iceberg that this really needs. And thanks to the planning board for pointing that out to me last night. Now, there is, and also extra requirement under marijuana location, and it's number 2, G, and the first thing it says there is item 1 will be measured from property line to property line for any residential district. This limits it even further. Now, if anyone can really explain what that means to me, I've already debated it with 10 people. But if you're measuring it from property line to property line, you wind up with 1 property in town, and that's it. That's the only town property where it's actually allowed. Now, I think we have to reconsider this because we're missing out on a large market that other towns along the state border have pursued and are taking advantage of. We have a populated town just north of here in the Milford area, which we should be taking advantage of. New Hampshire cannot sell marijuana in any form because they don't allow it. So they come to Massachusetts. The revenue stream would also increase up to 3% of the sales for the taxes in town. Let's see. Beyond that, the second amendment would be to include the OCDs, the outlying commercial districts. My map. Those would allow for actual street access for these facilities to actually have a storefront on in some of the areas on the street, which is highly important for any place that's open for sales. The third amendment is for the cultivation of marijuana. The intent is to allow it to be open grown as well as in buildings, and to consider it an agricultural commodity. That's important because there again, it's another enterprise in town that needs all the help it can get at our agricultural people in town. Without it being considered agriculture, they can't partake, they can't try and take advantage of any grant money, additional loan money, or tax savings in the use of like Chapter 61A, which is the current use tax, which is a big tool for farmers to maintain their properties as agriculture. What else am I missing?
Okay, so I think you sort of articulated the general intent of all the articles. If I can direct any specific questions about Article 18.
Mr. Moderator, yeah, there is sort of
well, we do have a preliminary thing here too. We need the report of the planning board.
So that's what I have before me is the report of the planning board.
So do you have the report for the planning board, Mr. Meehan?
Yes, sir. So I'll read this aloud from the sheet that the planning board shared with me. Subject report to 2026 annual town meeting 5/5/26 regarding Articles 18, 19, 20, zoning amendments proposed to Section 140 145-88 medical marijuana bylaw submitted by citizens petition. In accordance with General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 5, the Planning Board held a duly posted and published public hearing on May 4th, 2026 to review a proposal submitted by citizens petition to amend Townsend zoning bylaw as written in the warrant in Articles 18, 19, and 20, and referred to in the subject line herein. So these are the 3 warrant articles as described and as on the screen. As a result of discussing these 3 articles, the Planning Board asked me to share that after the public hearing was closed on May 4th, 2026, the Planning Board voted unanimously to take no action on adoption of the proposed amendments for the following reason. The Planning Board would like to undertake a more in-depth review of the existing Townsend medical marijuana bylaw section 145-88 and the recreation marijuana bylaw section 145-90. The Planning Board would like to develop a revision to the existing marijuana bylaws using current data and community input. This has been signed by your Planning Board representatives. So I think I have to share that. So.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's prerequisite in any event for us to vote on a zoning amendment to get a report from the Planning Board. Quite frankly, normally the Planning Board would either recommend or not recommend a zoning change. In this case, it sounds like they're suggesting taking no action so they can study it further. So that's not a motion in and of itself, but that's the Planning Board's report.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not sure if anybody here is from the Planning Board tonight, but I guess I'd take any further, I don't know, Mr. Shepherd, if you wanted to comment to that, or...
Mr. Melanson was in front of him.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Andrew Shepherd, current chair of the Townsend Planning Board. I'll try to be brief. We held a hearing yesterday on this matter. We had some concerns on some of the wording in some of these articles, and we were willing to work with the petitioner at future planning board meetings to go a little bit more in depth and hopefully find something that we felt we would be more comfortable with. But we came to the conclusion that we would recommend no action at this meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shepherd. Mr. Melanson.
Well, first, I've got too many military friends that have been helped out by medical marijuana, so I'm not against it. I'm also not against us collecting revenue that we may or may not be missing. Enough communities in and around us have taken this on and haven't seen any detrimental effect. What I want people to realize, though, is what worries me the most is the cultivation, especially the hydroponics. We do not have a sewer system. We won't have a sewer system. The hydroponics use RO to truly purify the water. They mix with a high nutrient blend, and that all creates waste. If we were to conclude the cultivation on this, I would want some sort of clarification of where they would put it in terms of our water supplies. We are dealing with enough contaminants now that I don't want to add to it. The treatment plant that we have is set to treat very specific water. If those chemistries were to change due to this, it would cause us to have further complications in operating the plant. So the only thing on this thing that worries me the most is the inclusion of the cultivation. They do create significant waste, and it's a little bit beyond what a septic system would be able to handle. So with the planning board, I like that they've looked at it and they're gonna entertain the notion and stuff, but if they do, I'd like them to consider making sure we keep the public waters safe, because this stuff, the liquid nitrogen, the nitrogen compounds that they're talking about are very, very mobile in the aquifer. And so that would be my main concern. Thank you.
All right, comments come on the motion. Mr. Rideout.
Yes, Bill Rideout, 88 South Harbor Road. I move that we take no action. Can I move for all 3 articles or just one?
I think we better take them one at a time.
Okay, so I move we take no action on Article 18.
Okay, the motion's been made to take no action on Article 18. It is debatable, but I'm going to just make one note that if the matter goes forward and is voted negatively and it requires a two-thirds vote, it would not be able to come back before the town meeting for 2 years without the planning board's approval of a rewritten bylaw. So with that bit of information, is there any debate about the taking no action? Yeah. No, not the same petition. That petition would, if it was voted against, if it was voted down tonight, that even if somebody else brought it in, it could not be taken up without planning board's approval. Yep, Mr. Streeter.
Does that mean it can come back worded differently?
In my experience, taking no action means the town didn't take any action, and so it's not a negative finding. And it could be brought back, 6 months later.
But not the entire article?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So.
Yeah, and in in researching this, it's definitely, I thought it was a simpler.
Sometimes it's simple,
thing,
sometimes it's not so simple.
But it really does warrant a closer look at, because it's,
yeah. So
it's money, it's revenue that we're missing out on.
That looks like, it sounds like there is an interest in looking at this in more detail. So if we're ready to vote on, you don't want to do that, do you?
No.
All those in favor of taking no action on Article 18, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Okay. No action on Article 18. Lives to fight another day. Article 19. See if the town will vote to amend the Townsend zoning bylaws, change to 145, changing Chapter 145, 88D1 from general. Any medical marijuana treatment center or marijuana cultivation activities permitted shall be located only in the industrial zoning district. 2, general, any medical marijuana treatment center or marijuana cultivation activities permitted shall be located in industrial zoning district or outlying commercial district. And
I can share a motion, Mr. Moderator, if that helps. Move that the town pass Article 19 as presented in May 5, 2026 annual town meeting warrant, if someone was to say so moved. Thank you. And a second? There we go. All right, now we're going.
You're going to have to educate me, Mr. Meehan. What did you just do? Did you make a motion?
Someone moved the words that I described as a motion, and then it was seconded, and now it's open for discussion on the warrant article.
All right, so do you have a written motion?
Yep, it's right there. It's essentially what I did before to help the petitioner with the wording of the motion.
Okay, all right. All right, so the motion is to pass Article 18 as presented in the May 5th.
19.
Oh, I'm sorry, 19. Yeah. As presented in the May 5th, 2006 annual town meeting warrant. And it is as printed in the warrant, correct?
Take no action.
Okay. Is there anything to be said? Mr. Rideout.
Bill Rideout, 88 South Harbor Road. I move that we take no action on Article 19.
Okay, motion made to take no action. Any debate? Not seeing any. All those in favor taking no action on Article 19, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. All right, it passes to take no action. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to amend the Townsend zoning bylaw to change Chapter 145, 88D3 from cultivation is allowed in all districts by right if the applicant is eligible under Chapter 48, Section 3. And I'm going to not omit reading the rest of it and see if there's a motion. Mr. Meehan.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town pass, I move that the town pass Article 20 as presented in the May 5, 2026 annual town meeting warrant if a resident was to move that. There we go.
All right. It's before you, Article 20. Mr. Rideout.
Bill Rideout, still 88 South Harbor Road. I move that we take no action on Article 20.
Motion's been made and seconded to take no action on Article 20. Anything to be said? Yep. Mr.
Jacek Mazdandowski, 16 Alisa Drive. Just a simple question. I was reading the text, and maybe now it's irrelevant. There is a sentence, any cultivation will require a special permit. It's my understanding that Massachusetts law allows any private person to cultivate marijuana up to 6, I believe, containers or pots, or correct me, I'm not doing it actually. So is this referring to commercial activities, or if I decide to grow marijuana, will I need a special permit? I just don't understand this text. Thank you.
The question comes on the motion, well, the underlying motion, not so much the motion to take no action, but if Mr. Meehan or Attorney Costa, you can address that.
My understanding is it's because it specifies within a building, so you can grow on your own outside as a right to farm, but this is highlighting within a building.
Yeah, it doesn't say farm, it just says cultivation, any cultivation.
Any cultivation is required within a building and will require a special permit. It's the preface, the preceding sentence.
If I'm not mistaken, that's separate from the general change in the marijuana laws that allow an individual to grow a certain number of plants in their yard or in their home. Ms. Kell.
Veronica Kell, 68 Meadow Road. This is specifically under medical marijuana bylaw. 14588 refers to medical marijuana and the town's permitting of it. And so it doesn't really have anything to do with what a private individual does.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you. Comments come on the motion to take no action. I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion to take no action, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. Chair is in doubt. No. The ayes have it. I'm not going to make you, the counters come forward at this hour. And congratulations, everybody. It is exactly 9:59. It's a new record for Townsend. I will entertain a motion to dissolve the town meeting. All right, motion's made. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Meeting is dissolved.
Thank you, everybody. Drive safe.